All right, so now we're into the process of what does it look like to begin buying a house, begin looking at properties, navigating a home search. What does all this look like? The first place I like to start as a bringing on a new client as a buyer is, where are you at financially? Where are you at for being able to have what's your purchasing power? What does your credit look like? What does all that look like? I don't need to know all those details, but who does is a mortgage lender. We have a handful that we work with, and I'm sure you've probably already got the list, or we're going to be sending you the list of those that we work with. There's going to be a conversation of pre-qualifications versus pre-approvals. And there is a pretty big difference between the two. Pre-qualification is a lender asking you, hey, how much money do you make? What does your debt situation look like? Do you know what your credit score is? And it's a very gentle, very soft touch when it comes to getting somebody qualified to purchase. All of those things are pretty quick right off the cuff, like, yep, that seems like a good buyer, judging by my algorithm here, you'd be in this purchasing power. Okay, that's good. We've got a general understanding. What does a pre-approval look like? That's something a little bit different. That one's more in depth. They're going to be asking for bank statements. They're going to run your credit. They're going to get employment verifications, things like that, to make sure that it's a smart decision for the bank to lend money to you to buy a house. Now, why would the bank want to know if you're a good person to lend money to? Well, they don't want to own real estate. Banks don't want to do that. What they want to do is lend money and get paid back with interest. It's a business model for them. They're not real estate investors. They are investing in real estate, but really they're investing in the client and the real estate that client is buying. So they want to go through and they want to get all the details. They're going to go through and ask you questions about, hey, why was this stretch where you were unemployed? Or where was this stretch where you were late on a bunch of payments? It looks like you have some revolving credit with these credit cards. Do you pay those off? All these different things make up your credit score. They make up your lender's profile for you. And that tells them either, yes, you are ready to purchase, or no, you're not. Sometimes you're in there where you are ready to purchase, you're able to purchase, but you may not qualify for a conventional. You may be under a FHA. Might work really well. You see that a lot with first-time home buyers. You can see USDA or RD loans, and those are typically 0% down. FHA is usually 3.5% down. Conventional is between 3 and however much you want to put down, but typically we see between 5 to 25%. And then it also depends on what you're purchasing. Are you purchasing a primary home? Or are you purchasing a investment property? Are you purchasing land? Are you buying land and building a house? So you're getting a construction loan. There's all these different things that come along with it. One other one I forgot to mention is VA. So if you're a veteran, you may want to use the VA loan. Sometimes it's a better option, sometimes it's not. It all depends on the client and it depends on the situation. I'm not going to say that I'm a lending expert by any means, because I'm not. But I've worked with every single one of these different types of lending practices, and it's very dependent on the person and the property. So the reason I want you to get pre-approved is, let's get pre-approved right off the bat so we know what we're able to look for, what your buyability is, what your buying power is, and that way we can set you up by looking at the right properties. I don't want to start looking at $500,000 properties and then find out you're only pre-approved for $200,000 because now your expectation is up here at a $500 and we're only looking at twos. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you're not going to find something you like because we tainted it up here by looking at stuff that was outside of your price range. So let's get pre-approved. Let's talk to a lender. Let's get that locked in, and then let's start navigating the home search.